Clouds is definitely a moving film. This is a Disney film from 2020. This is directed by Justin Baldoni, it's written by Cara Holden, and it's based on Fly a Little Higher, How God Answered a Mum's Small Prayer in a Big Way by Laura Sobiech. And this is actually based on a true story, which made it all the more brutal, and it's the true story of Zach Sobiech, a teenager who lived in Minnesota, who had cancer, and well, I won't go into too much detail, but as you can imagine, it's a very, very emotional story. And the film looks at his life as he has months to live, and he decides to use his time to try and achieve his dream as a musician. And I did a tiny bit of research into that, into the true story aspect there and Zach's music, and it's certainly worth looking into if it's the kind of thing that seems interesting for you. As for the film itself, I don't know exactly how accurate it is, but I haven't heard anything that said that it's inaccurate, so I'm going to assume that it's pretty close to the true story. And it's basically about initially his experience, his connection with music, but also his relationships with people around him, how they respond to the fact that he doesn't have much time left. And as you can imagine, a lot of characters have a lot of emotions, and it is so easy, painfully easy, to feel their emotions. The performances across the board are brilliant, and when they're emotional, it makes me emotional. And it isn't the easiest watch, but there are obviously times when it's a little bit lighter, otherwise it would be impossible to sit through. But it's very moving, and I think it tells a story that's full of so many different emotions. And as I said, there are positive moments, there are some really interesting attitudes and perspectives, and it's very moving and very, very well done. It does get a little slow here and there. The film is 2 hours, and I think it could have been an hour and a half. No specific chunk of time. I don't think the middle should have been removed or anything, but just here and there, some scenes could have been quickened up a little bit or shaved off a little bit. So the pacing isn't perfect, but actually, in a way, having some scenes being a little bit slower does give us, as the viewer, the time to maybe gather our emotions a little bit and kind of collect ourselves a bit. So I don't mind that too much, but just in general, the pacing could be a little bit better. The characters are all very well written. Again, I don't know how accurate they are to the true individuals, but they're well written. Their responses to everything are very believable. Their interactions with each other are really great. And the performances across the board are very, very well done. The music is great, as one would expect. And we have some great camera work, some really good editing. For me, it's going to be a one-time watch because it isn't the easiest to sit through. But because it's such a strong, powerful, very well executed film, it's not easy. But I came away from it with a lot of thoughts, a lot of emotions, and I think it's a really solid film. So if it sounds like a film for you, then I'd say it's definitely worth watching. Not the easiest, but very well done, with great performances, well written, strong characters, great music, visually satisfying. Ultimately, apart from being a little slow, I think Clouds is pretty brilliant, and I'm happy to recommend it.